This Saturday, a big-time matchup in the Big Ten. Purdue traveling to East Lansing to take on Michigan State. Are Sparty's NCAA tournament hopes hanging in the balance? Let's take a look. Life has not been great if you're a fan of the Green Guys, the Michigan State Spartans as of late. Great start to the season, all the way back in 2021. Remember that? Starting in November and December. But since January has gone, especially after that postponement, starting January 12th, this team in the last 12 games, 5 wins and 7 losses. 4 out of their last 5, they've taken L's on the chin. And in that last 12 games, uncharacteristic losses to programs like Northwestern and Penn State and Rutgers. So what's going on with Michigan State? And as we look forward to this game against Purdue, I would not call this a must-win to get in the NCAA tournament. Still think they could lose this game to Purdue and win the rest of their games. They could even split 2-2, win a couple of games in the Big Ten tournament. I still think they could get in to the NCAA tournament because they've got 2 good wins. You take a look at their early season win against Connecticut. Connecticut just upset Villanova. I think UConn is a good basketball team right now. That's a good win for Michigan State. And then the win against Wisconsin earlier this season as well. So they've got 2 good wins over 2 good teams. So I don't think a loss to Purdue right now axes them from the NCAA tournament. I still think that there is still hope going forward. Now, let's look at this game. Sparty and Purdue Pete going at it in this game. This has the potential to be a track meet. Okay, these are the top 2 teams in the Big Ten in 3-point field goal percentage. Now, you might think, oh, it's going to be raining threes all day. There's a little bit of an asterisk. There's a little bit of a silver lining to that. Purdue attempts a lot more three-pointers than Michigan State. Michigan State 10th in the Big Ten in 3-point field goals attempted. So it's about shot selection. It's about shooting the threes at the right time and capitalizing them and making them with the lower shot attempts this season. I don't view Michigan State necessarily as an offensive juggernaut, when I look at the top 2 teams in the conference in 3-point field goal percentage, like I do Purdue. I look at Purdue as a team that can light it up at just about any moment in time. They were down by double digits to Maryland earlier this season. Sasha Stefanovic gets hot. The whole team gets hot, and this team can turn it on. I call them the microwave of the Big Ten. Purdue, if they're down, they can turn it on at any time, and they can heat up really, really fast, and they can make up a deficit really, really fast. If this game turns into a track meet where it goes back and forth, it's up-tempo, Purdue, I think, is the team that is favored in this game. I look at Michigan State. This is a forward-oriented team. I look at Gabe Brown. He's a good player. Malik Hall has been playing well as of late, the leading scorer in their last game in that loss to Iowa. But I still think Purdue is deeper. Purdue has more weapons on offense. But that being said, it wouldn't surprise me to see Michigan State pull it out. Purdue is kind of an up and down. That Maryland game is kind of the Michigan game. Those are games where they didn't play their best. I look at Purdue as a hot and cold type of team. When Purdue gets cold, cite the Maryland game. 1, can they heat back up? And 2, can they overcome it in other ways? I like Purdue in this matchup going into East Lansing. On paper, you might think, well, Purdue, if Michigan State loses by 26 to Iowa, what's going to happen when they play the Purdue Boilermakers? I don't think this is going to be a 20-point game, but then again, I don't think it's going to be under 10. I think it's going to be somewhere between a 10 and a 20-point game, maybe with Purdue pulling away late. And we talk about Michigan State trying to get into the NCAA tournament. I look at Purdue trying to get on the 1 line. This is a big game. I mean, it's a decent opponent, a possible tournament team in Michigan State. If Purdue can get a convincing win on the road, that's going to do a lot more for them in terms of getting into that 1 line on the 1 seed. One thing about that Matt Painter's got to preach, don't look ahead. You got a big game going on the road to Madison on March 1st. Don't look ahead. You're in a tougher environment at the Breslin Center in front of the zone. Don't look ahead past Michigan State because they will get you. There have been times, as I said earlier in the video, where Purdue hasn't been ready to play. If you're not ready to play like you were against Michigan, like it was against Maryland there for the first half and parts of the second half, Michigan State will bite you on the road. So they got to be ready to play. I think Jaden Ivey can do what he does. I think he can go out there, he can score 20 points, he can control the game in this game. Looking forward to seeing the matchup down low between Bingham and Zach Edey, the two big guys down low. Maybe the rebounding might have a big edge in terms of who comes out on top. But I definitely think Purdue has the edge. They've got more depth. They've got more talent going forward. If Michigan State does lose this game, it gets the sense of urgency, gets a little bit more because, man, if they continue to lose, who knows what's going to happen going forward. But if Michigan State does find a way to win, I think that guarantees them a spot in the NCAA tournament. I want to hear what you guys think about this matchup on Saturday. Purdue taking on Michigan State. I think it's going to be a good one. Maybe close in the first half, early part of the second half, but Purdue pulls away late. I want to hear your thoughts on this matchup. Subscribe. I'm Big Ten Ted, and we will see you in the next one.